Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I am pleased to have back on the show, friend of the breakdown, Spencer Dinwiddie, the point guard for the Brooklyn Nets, or I should call you a combo guard now. Is that more accurate?
Yeah, doing a little bit of everything
All right,
out
well,
there.
that's true. You certainly can do a little bit of everything, and you were doing a lot of everything the other night against the Pistons. So let's go talk about some of these plays you made down the stretch because I wanted to hear from your point of view how the plays unfolded, especially down in the fourth quarter. So let me take you back to 2 minutes to go. You're down by four, and you're going to run a little pick and roll with Jared Allen out top. So how did this play unfold and get you an open three?
Yeah, so Jared obviously was coming up to set a quick pick and roll. I decided to attack the big. Dre was a little bit shifted over, so I felt like the pocket pass was open. Threw it to JA. And then when JA didn't immediately go up, obviously I realized I had to relocate, get to the corner, and get my outlet. He spun around, had a great find, and I was able to make the shot.
How important is it to when you drive to the basket and dish to then get back out and relocate behind the line, particularly in the corners? How important is that to getting open threes?
Oh, extremely important. I think obviously this is part of the whole Steph Curry Warriors effect. Everybody hunting threes and kind of transformation of the game. But, off of offensive rebounds and also, kind of just when everything gets in the paint, there's kind of like any sort of muck and you can kind of get lost, especially in the corners. That's where they look to find guys now.
Now, how hard is that shot? Because you're now backing up. You got to get your feet behind the line. You take another extra dribble in there to find. Was the dribble there so you can get your feet behind, or was it to get more rhythm?
It was more just to get my feet behind because I was backpedaling, but I was more focused on the play actually. So I didn't look down specifically to know exactly where I was. So when I took the peek down, I realized I wasn't behind the line. I didn't want to risk obviously traveling or anything of that nature. So you just take the dribble, get your rhythm. I had time, so just get your feet set and try to knock it down.
Well, let's talk about the closeout there because the guy did get there and it was sort of close. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious from an NBA shooter standpoint, what about a guy running at you has an effect or doesn't have an effect when you're getting your shot off?
If you can get to your shot kind of release point without really any distractions, you kind of just let it fly at this point. Just kind of with the way the league's going, the how much everybody's encouraging threes. You kind of really would have to be there on the catch for guys to not shoot it nowadays. Now guys are kind of letting it fly with confidence, and you're going to see like not only the attempts rise but also the percentages rise, just because there's not going to be as much of a stigma on it, and people are just going to start kind of letting them fly.
Right. So it doesn't matter if the hand is up and like obscuring your vision on the rim, right? That doesn't bother you as much as maybe being there on the catch and taking away the shot altogether.
Yeah, yeah. If you're there on the catch, taking the shot away altogether, then obviously you'd force me to either step back or into driving it or whatever. But once I'm already up and getting ready to, release the ball at that point, I mean, I'm sure it has some level of effect versus an open shot. Obviously, I mean, mildly contested versus heavily contested, all that stuff. But I'm at that point, I'm already getting ready to let it go. So it just kind of is what it is.
Right. So it's almost like you don't even need to see the rim once you know where you are and you have the catch and it's a on the catch itself if you see the rim. After that it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely more important to obviously know where you are to
Mhm.
begin with, but at the point of release, I mean, in that millisecond, if my eyes are temporarily obscured, I mean, I don't think it's gonna do too much.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's what it seems like. And I talked to a lot of shooters who all feel the same way. They've done it so many times, right? That you just sort of know what that release needs to be without having to actually see the rim as much. But let's get down to the next shot I want to talk about because this was even more crucial with 21 seconds to go, an out of bounds play, and Coach Atkinson drew up
Yeah.
a nice little elevator. Was what I call it. But I'm not so sure it was the most perfectly executed. Perhaps mucking it up was what you mentioned earlier. Maybe that helped you a little bit, but walk us through what happened on this play and how you got open.
Well, so that's actually one of our proprietary trade secrets, and
Uh
if I tell you, I gotta kill you.
oh.
But
Okay.
it is something like a elevator action for sure. And all the guys on the court, Joe Harris, Karras specifically, obviously, and myself ran it pretty well, and we were able to kind of get Reggie off me a little bit, and I got the daylight, and then that's another one. He got a fairly good contest late, but it was all about letting it fly at that point. There's no use in worrying about the defense. We got to hit the bucket, we got to tie the game, and then rely on our defense.
Was the fact that the pass came from your left Did that make that shot any easier for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think obviously, there's the old adage that, you're already square to the basket when accepting the pass from the left. I hadn't actually thought about that one specifically on that shot. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess it definitely could have helped a little bit for sure. And then obviously the fact that it was a good pass in general by AC helps out a ton. If you had thrown it, high or low or at my feet or something, then that would have definitely had a drastic effect on the shot.
Now, you were a little bit quiet for the overtime as we got
Yeah.
into that, but not when they needed you, you came through. And I'm wondering if we can talk a little bit about that last three that you made because ends up being the game winner. So walk us through how this played and how it unfolded.
Yeah, so I'm bringing it down the right side. I have Stanley on me. Jared sets a quick kind of brush screen. We get the switch, and I'm at about the break or so. Drummond's hands are down. He's got a couple steps back. Obviously, we're down two. So I'm assuming, obviously, in my head, he's preparing for me to drive. Something that I did very effectively against him in the first game that we played. So knowing that he's going to be cautious of that and knowing that I was fairly close to the corner and the corner three and that I shot the ball well that night, I decided to go for the win, honestly.
Can you remember what that was like at that second? I'm going to go for the win here, or does this just sort of unfold so quickly what that wasn't part of the thought process?
No, so it's like a little bit of both, honestly. So it's not like a full on thought process of like all those pieces, right? But when I'm coming down, Jared sets a quick pick and roll, which was obviously advantageous because I'd want to go against Dre instead of Stanley, just in terms of as a defender. And then it's like, okay, he's backed up, his hands are down, and then I know roughly where I'm at on the floor, obviously, and I'm like, all right, here it goes. Like in that split second, time and score, all those things already when you're bringing the ball off the court. So you're not having that moment while you're bringing it up because you're cognizant of all those things. Jared does, what he's supposed to do in terms of causing the switch, and then okay, time's running down. You still want to get the shot up fairly quick just to make sure there's an offensive rebounding possibility. So in that moment, it's either, drive or shoot. If I were to just wait and pound the rock, obviously then my chances and my different options go down. So it was going to be a decision fairly quickly. Either I was going to drive it or shoot it pretty much in that moment. And I chose to go for the win in that moment.
And so the type of shot you took, everyone's sort of adding that to their arsenal of three-point shots.
Yeah.
How hard are you working on that shot to make that as effective part of your game?
Oh, I'm definitely working on it a lot. I mean, obviously, you call it the Harden step back. Great offensive players are looking to bend the rules as much as they possibly can to gain an advantage. And obviously, when guys do something effectively, other guys are going to look to add it to their game. Whoever that is. That's part of the reason why KD had the sweep through all those years ago, and then they changed the rule so it was no longer 2 free throws automatically. It's a great move. It's something, like you said, Harden's done very effectively. And just the break in the rhythm causes guys to either foul you or get kind of an awkward contest. Because if they jump too early while you're still sidestepping, when you start to go up into your shot, you can alter, obviously, your trajectory of your jump into them, get a foul. And if they start jumping after your step back, you're already into your release. So it's something that makes the defender have to literally time it perfectly. And obviously that's just something that's very, very hard to do with elite offensive players.
Well, Spencer, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing us these insights. I'm telling you, rarely do we get a glimpse into the NBA player's mind the way you do it. So I wish you as much luck. Actually, I don't know if you want luck. Do you want luck in your season or you want skill? What is it?
I mean, hey, I'll take some of all of it.
All right, that's right. Well, luck is whatever what's that old adage? When you're prepared, you have luck, or whatever. But nonetheless, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I hope to talk to you soon later on this season and see where we're at there with more game winners and more awesome moves. So we'll check up on you later. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Spencer?
I'm in.
Sports fans, to see more of our great NBA content and analysis, make sure to hit the subscribe button, but also click the bell and adjust your settings so you can get an alert the second our videos drop. Because trust me, you're going to want them hot and fresh. You in?